Amici, proseguiamo con Astrologaster. Sì, andiamo. Oh, eccola.
Good evening, Miss Lanier. What brings you?
I am come about my future, Dr. Foreman. I wish to know whether I will find success as a writer of poems and plays. You can predict futures, can you not?
You, madam? A writer of poems and of plays? Forsooth, how verily remarkable.
Well, 'tis true most of us Basanos and Laniers are musicians, but I have chosen a different path. I've lately begun a collaboration with a poet and playwright. Let us call him Mr. S. He is presently writing a play that takes place in northern Italy, and as I am of Italian heritage, he has asked me to help him write it.
Sarà l'altro amico nostro.
Has this collaboration between...
Aspetta, come si chiama? Sarà Riccardo Ferraro o no?
Well,
Boh.
Right well, or so methinks. Indeed, Mr. S did suggest that I am full talented as a writer. Be not afraid of greatness, he told me. For once our play opens upon the London
cercando di
stage,
sistemarmi
our
lì.
success will follow, as night follows day.
I see. Then what would you have me ask the stars, madam?
Well, I've noted that Mr. S, although a brilliant man, is oft prone to exaggerated melodrama and implausible plot resolutions. I wish to know whether this story of his, of our future success, is true.
Very wise of you, madam. Then let us see whether your success or failure is writ in the stars. Will Mistress Amelia Lanier find fame and fortune as a writer?
Allora, una cosa che ho notato è che vanno a cazzo le scelte, quindi un minimo. Quindi, allora, ok, non sembra male. Lavoreranno bene insieme. Io voglio essere ottimista.
It would seem Mr. S.'s confidence is not misplaced. For the stars foretell that if you have
Tanto andrà comunque male con lei, quindi però cerchiamo un minimo.
And your contribution to the world will reach beyond literature to be of great benefit to society.
So, in order to succeed, I must hold fast to a belief that I will succeed.
Just so, madam.
But what you are asking of me is right illogical, Dr. Foreman. Indeed, 'tis an impossibility. How can I maintain a belief that my success is inevitable when you have just informed me that my success is conditional and contingent? As Aristotle teaches us in
Mistress
his...
Lanier, mayhap I have confounded you with the nuances of my astrological reading. All you need know is that the achievement of your goals is very likely. Indeed, 'tis indicated that your collaboration with Mr. S will be a fruitful one. Prithee, madam, look not for bad news among the good.
Aye, mayhap 'tis best I not overthink it, as you say. I thank ye, sir. Good even, Dr. Foreman.
Non ci ha vomitato merda. La considero una buona cosa. Però, porca puttana, comunque ho ottenuto poco. Perché? Gesù, non capisco. A volte sembra veramente andare a cazzo. Allora, sto cercando di comprendere. Qua lì abbiamo 7 richieste. Con lei 3. Di nuovo.
Good day to you, sir.
Good day to you, madam. What service may I perform for you this day?
For me? None. None at all.
Verily. Then I cannot fathom why you...
It was my husband who bade me come, for he finds it difficult to speak of. As I say, he had me come in his stead, and I could think of no reason to give him for why I should not come.
I see. Then what is troubling your husband? Madam, I cannot treat a querent without knowing first what his troubles are.
He is unable to perform his marital duties.
I see. And whatever does that mean? Your husband forgets to put out the night soil? Some broken shelving he is neglected to fix? Prithee, madam, I bid you be more precise.
Ah, you know perfectly well what I mean, Simon. I bid you not drag this out any longer. Pray read the stars and let us get this over with.
As you wish, madam. Now, let us see. What ails Mr. Allen so as to render him unable to perform his marital obligations towards Mistress Allen?
Ma che style? Cioè, con queste cose non voglio dire un cazzo, capito? Cioè, dimmi di più, che cosa vuol dire? Non vorrei cannare con lei. O magari lei è una copertura, non lo so, cioè.
Your husband is suffering from a lack of sanguinity in the brain, which has resulted in a loss of carnal lust. According to my chart, there is little hope of remedy.
Verily, no hope at all.
Nay, I'm afeard not.
Oh, then Mr. Allen is not, cannot be a full husband to me. At least not in the full, true sense of being a husband.
Precisely so. And as a physician, it behoves me to observe how unnatural and lamentable it is that that a wife be so neglected.
Oh, Simon.
Oh, my darling Avis.
Va bene. Sistema un attimo la sedia. Vediamo se così va bene. Continuiamo.
Last evening 'twas like a dream. Never in my life have I felt so. Oh, my sweet Avis, 'tis true you are married, but surely a love as great as ours can transcend such earthly impediments. Dare I hope for... Nay, 'tis most unlikely. Or is it? Forsooth, there be no harm in asking the stars. Might Avis Allen one day be mine?
Non credo. Vediamo un po'. Secondo me è questa, dai. Credo almeno.
Says Avis is one day to be widowed. which will, of course, be very tragical. But after the grieving is done, we will marry. She will be Mistress Foreman. Mistress Avis Foreman.
Va bene. Ma non credo di potervela mandare da solo la lettera. Non avrebbe chissà quanto senso. Thomas, l'abbiamo già incontrato? Sì.
Good day, Dean Blogg. Fare you well?
Most well indeed, and I will tell you why. The conquering cherub has lately returned home to England.
Ah, this being the voyage you did invest in.
Aye, and what a sound investment it was, for it has paid off most handsomely. The cherub's cargo of nutmeg and pepper will fetch a high price indeed.
Quindi è andata bene.
In sooth, as I recall, it was you who advised me on this investment, was it not? I thank ye heartily for it, sir.
I am glad to have been of service, Dean Blogg.
Forsooth, my earnings have enabled me to make a substantial investment in Sir Walter Raleigh's expedition to the New World.
Ah, methinks I've heard of this. 'Tis a quest to find the fabulosity of gold, is it not? Or as the Spanish call it, El Dorado?
The very same. For it is said that El Dorado does lie deep within the rainforests of the southern parts of the New World, hiding vast quantities of gold and precious jewels. Hence, what I would have you tell me is, exactly how rich can I expect to be made from my investment?
I see.
For if I'm to be made very rich, I am afeard that news of my fabulous wealth may cause some jealousy among the clergy. News travels fast around the diocese, and I think it wise to get ahead of it if I can.
Then let us consult the stars. What will become of Thomas Blogg's investment in Sir Walter Raleigh's quest to find El Dorado?
Leggiamo. Non sembra positivo. Cerchiamo di essere ottimisti. Ok. Dio benedica l'esplorazione. Che cazzo vuol dire? Io non lo capisco, ve lo giuro. Siamo ottimisti, dai.
I am pleased to tell you, Dean Blogg, that your investment is secure. Indeed, this expedition
Andrà
will
male?
produce a fine
Sicuro.
legacy for your children. For, according to the stars, God has
According to the
seen
stars.
fit to reward
Yes.
England's conquering spirit of curiosity.
God favors the expedition? Oh, praise be to the Lord for his blessings!
And once you have received these blessings, Dean Blogg, I do hope you and Mistress Blogg will remember my years of service and friendship to you both. I have always endeavored to,
Tush, tush, Dr. Foreman. Pray, let us not dwell on such vulgar subjects as money. For did we not at this moment learn that the discovery and conquest of this city is part of God's plan for the glory of our nation? The honor of having played my small part in it should be reward enough for us both.
Ok. Bene. Questa cosa è geniale.
Good morrow, sir, and well met.
Indeed, 'tis I, Riccardo Ferraro, come once again to the great Dottore Simon Forman.
Aye, and I can see why you are come. Methinks you are not well, signor. The color of your face is quite alarming.
It is because I am losing the blood. The blood does drain away from my face, away down my body, and out of my...
You are bleeding from your fundament. How much have you been bleeding, and for how long?
Un poco, not too much.
Un
It
poco.
does come and go. Sometimes blood,
Sometimes
no
maybe
blood.
good, sometimes
You
maybe
stop at
shit.
the blood, see?
Mayhap I will, but first I must consult the stars to find a diagnosis. What ails Signor Riccardo Ferraro?
Ah, le emorroidi. Sì. Ah, le emorroidi,
There is
dai.
nothing here to worry about, Signor Ferraro. Your body is merely purging itself of corrupted blood, in a similar manner to that which does occur in a woman's nethers each month. To wit, 'tis most healthsome and natural.
Are you sure? Are you sure that is your final answer?
Indeed it is. I do assure you, Signor, 'tis the very latest medical thinking on the subject of hemorrhoids. You are welcome to procure a second opinion, but I warrant you will find that most doctors in London will tell you the same.
Then Riccardo Ferraro bids you good day, Signor Foreman.
Non sembra troppo entusiasta. Esatto. Madonna.
Did you see that?
See what, madam?
Your querent, Signor Ferraro, scuttling away from me like a frighted rabbit. What have I ever done to upset the man? All I did was wish him buongiorno as I passed him at the door.
Verily, Signor Ferraro's behavior does sound full strange. But let us not think of him, but of the matter that brings you hither, Mistress Lanier. How do you fare?
I fare most well, in the main. For you spoke true when you said my collaboration with Mr. S would be fruitful.
Ce l'abbiamo
It is
fatta.
going exceeding well.
Ah.
Verily, Dr. Foreman, I would be right content with my lot at present if it were not for the trouble I am come about this day.
Pray, tell me of this trouble, madam.
I am being prowled. Oftentimes in the night I see him following me home. One time methinks I even caught him looking at me through my window. I would have you tell me who this prowling man might be.
A prowler? How very worrisome. Can you describe this man to me?
Nay, for it is always at night that I spy him, and I have always been too frighted for my eyes to linger upon him very long.
Then let us see what light the stars can shed upon the identity of this
Come
man who
cazzo?
hides himself in darkness. Who is the man prowling Mistress Lanier?
Allora. Marito violento? È spaventosamente specifica questa cosa. Non credo sia la cosa più giusta da dirla. Prowling me, non voglio tradurlo male. Chi si aggira di misterioso? Boh. Mm. Boh, io ci
The
provo.
stars suggest that your prowler is a man with a talent for wit, a man who secretly harbors amorous feelings towards you. Does that sound like anyone you know, madam?
Dr. Foreman, I find your question most illogical.
Strano.
I cannot know of a man who harbours secret feelings for me, for indeed, if I were to know of them, the feelings would not be secret.
Yes, well, let me put it another way. Your friend, Mr. S, is the keen-witted man who furtively admires you. He is your prowler, madam.
Mr. S is my prowler, you say? I bid you, sir, check the stars again.
Is it not the most likely explanation, though, madam?
I assure you there is nothing likely about the unique relationship betwixt me and Mr. S. Indeed, he has too much respect for my literary mind to use me so ill. For his is a noble intellect that allows him to soar above the baser instincts of lesser men. Now, if you will not judge the stars again for me, I will bid you good day, Dr. Foreman.
Tanto vediamo di nuovo, guarda. Vediamo se poi abbiamo ragione.
Hear ye! Sir Walter Raleigh fails to find legendary Treasure City. Rumours say next Raleigh voyage is to pot of gold at end of rainbow.
Cazzo, abbiamo fallito. Era da un po' che non tornava lei. Cazzo, abbiamo fallito di brutto con la spedizione. Anche come potevo saperlo.
Good day to you, Mistress Sharp.
Good day, Dr. Foreman. But I am Mistress Delamere now.
Mistress Delamere? But as I recall from my case notes... let me see now. 'Twas 3 years past. Aye, were you not hoping to marry a man named George Middleton?
Oh, yes. I did marry Mr. Middleton. But not long after we were wed, he fell to his death whilst taking the air atop a church belfry, struck down by his abiding love of late Gothic architecture.
There, my dear lady. How distressing your late husband's death must have been for you.
Aye, indeed, Dr. Foreman. So much so that my friends urged me to marry again, lest I die of grief. But now that I am once more a wife, I would not wish to be widowed anew. And John Delamere, my present husband, is also an older man. Dr. Foreman, you must tell me whether there be any illness he has, whether there be anything I might do to save my dear sweet husband from an early death.
Then let us see what the stars have to say.
Ma non mi ha detto
Is
niente.
Mr. John Delamere troubled with any condition that may cause him to die? Your husband suffers from quinsy, madam.
Oh, you mean to say he has a sore throat?
'Tis a trifle graver than that, madam, but to be sure, quinsy is not fatal. To hasten your Mr. Delamere's recovery, there is a most effective treatment that you may wish to try. A moment, prithee, madam, while I consult my medical handbook. Yes. To treat quinsy, stroke the patient's swollen throat with the hand of a fresh corpse.
I am to find a dead man's hand and use it to stroke my husband's neck.
Aye. I do not usually offer this treatment myself, so I will direct you to a specialist. Jack Stiles, the hangman at Tyburn. Tell Mr. Stiles that Dr. Simon Foreman sent you, and he will give you a fair price for a few minutes with one of the corpses.
I will be sure to. And that is all. My husband has no grave condition that threatens his life.
Nay,
Oh.
madam. Aside from the quinsy, your
Oh.
husband appears to be in very fine health.
By my troth, how wondrous. I thank ye heartily for your reassurance, Dr. Foreman. Good day.
Mi ha dato poco. Oddio, cos'ha questa adesso? Gli è andata male in alta cena.
Good morrow, Mistress Fortescue. How may I help you this day?
I did lately experience feelings of a most strange and disturbing nature, for which I desire an explanation.
I see. Prithee describe these feelings to me, madam. When did they occur?
Last eve, at a dinner party hosted by my dear friend, Mistress Emma Delamere. All was well at first, but soon after my arrival, I was stricken with a kind of madness.
Madness, you say?
Yes, moments during which I found myself overcome with feelings of mirth, laughing most immoderately at the dullest of remarks made by other guests. At other times, I felt an unnatural fascination with the shape of the candelabra in the table's centerpiece. And all the while, I was so ravenous with hunger, I quite absent-mindedly ate all the sweetmeats at my end of the table. I fear my rapaciousness did not escape the notice of guests seated beside me.
Such an immoderate appetite is out of character for you, I take it. It could not have merely been occasioned by anxious passions?
Why, nay, Dr. Foreman. Forsooth, I ought to have been very calm last eve, for I did spend the afternoon inhaling the fumes of an aromatic oil, a gift from my sweet husband, sent back from his explorations in the Near East. I did mention my husband, Captain Henry Fortescue, before, I think. He is a great friend of Sir Walter Raleigh. Oh, Henry and Sir Walter find the oil most relaxing, so he tells me.
Yet you were not so very relaxed last eve, I take it.
No, not in the least. For I fear a capricious spell was cast upon me. Over the course of the evening, I developed the strongest intuition that malignant forces were present in the room, and that I had been bewitched. Could it be true, Dr. Foreman? Might a witch have cast a spell on me?
That is something we shall have to ask the stars, madam. Let us see. What was it that afflicted Mistress Sybil Fortescue last eve at dinner?
Può essere. Andiamo, ha un suo senso.
You are suffering from the melancholy, madam. Indeed, the delusions and fancies provoked by melancholy are oft the true reasons behind many feminine medical complaints, be they of the mind or the body.
I thank you for this explanation, sir. But if I may ask one small question...
William, come hither! My manservant William will bleed you to purge your excess of black bile. You must dine upon sweet foods and avoid the consumption of chicken, lettuce, and white wine. I must also ask you to abstain from indulging in intimacies with your husband. Though I imagine that will not be difficult, as Captain Fortescue is oft away at sea, is he not?
Yes. Forsooth, my husband spends more time at sea than he does at home.
Good. William! Come hither and bleed Mistress Fortescue!
Ce l'ho fatta? È buono? No. Perché è sceso? Perché è calato? Allora, lui calerà sicuramente. Perché lei l'abbiamo guardato una volta sola. E Riccardo ormai è cliente fisso. E sta aumentando. Emma? Lei... Pot'è che stiamo per finire il gioco? Oppure viveranno altri pazienti? Credo ne vivranno degli altri poi, no? Non lo so, vediamo l'ultimo di oggi.
Ah, good day, Mistress Allen. What brings you this day? Oh, dear lady, You tremble like a leaf on an autumn day.
Aye, for I am most affrighted. But Mr. Allen says he thinks I worry over naught. So I am come to you, for methinks you would. Perchance you may help me.
By my troth, Pray tell me of this evil that affrightens you, madam, and I shall do all in my power to protect you from it.
Yes, evil. Indeed, 'tis the very word for it. I have seen a dark figure prowling outside our house in the night, and once I saw him spying through my window. Who is he? What does he want from me? What am I to do?
I see. And you do not recognize his face or any other particulars? The color of his hair, for instance?
Oh, nay, for 'tis always so dark. But by his silhouette I can tell he is a bony, scrawny little man.
Is he verily? But your husband thinks 'tis naught to worry over, you say?
Aye, he says the man is doubtless naught but a poor travelling tinker who is merely taking shelter in our garden. 'Twould explain why his figure is so slight, to be sure, but what if he is not a tinker? What if his purpose is more sinister?
Aye, indeed. Then let us consult the stars. Who is the man prowling outside the Allen's house in the night, and what is his purpose?
Ok. Ah, siamo noi. Aspetta. Quindi? Ma nessuna delle due vuol dire qualcosa, cioè non... Boh, io opterei per questa, fanculo.
The stars suggest the prowler is a secret foe of your husband. Does Mr. Allen have any gambling debts, perchance?
Hold. Methinks I see it now. Ah, 'tis you! The prowler, 'tis you!
Me? How now, madam? What an outlandish notion.
So you would deny it? That you have prowled and spied upon me these last months?
Prithee, Avis, you've got it all.
I will not have it. I am not a thing to be owned. I'm not one of your prized possessions.
Prithee, madam, put that down. Put it...
Ah!
Fie, madam. That was a priceless Venetian vase.
Merda.